Thank you, Jess. He's going to be hard to beat later on this afternoon. Nearly 3.5 tenths of a second. First to second in Armour All qualifying just a few moments ago for race 10 of the championship. And we got the final race of the V8 touring cars on the circuit right now. David Russell alongside me. A combination of the points from the first two races sets the grid for the final race. Over 14 laps here this afternoon.
Yeah, Jack Smith, Tyler Greenbury, the two guys leading the points, both off the front row. They're going to be, it's going to be on for the first corner.
Even the second row looks handy today too. Michael Anderson has been strong all weekend with Jordan Boys. Josh Smith in 5th position. Chris Smurton will join John McCorkindale. David Wright and Gary Collins both returning to the championship on the 5th row. Tony Evangelou and Michael Caine further back. Troy Stapleton and Warren Millett, who went off the track on lap number 1 in the first race today. And Brad Neal, who's starting on the back row by himself. Chris Delsma, weekend he'd rather forget in car number 16.
Well, Chris obviously had that engine issue. He might send it to the engine rebuilder and say, while you're there, mate, give it a real good trick up, and we'll see if we can get a few more horsepower out of this.
Every wire, everything comes out of this car. We'll try again. Here's our onboard cameras. Jordan Boys, the Image Racing Lubramax, number 49 Falcon for Terry Wyhoon's team. They're on their formation. Well, that's a good time to go down the pit lane to Cameron Van and Duncan.
I thought I'd just give you the follow-up on Michael Caine, guys. It was an alternator that did itself in. He only noticed it when it dropped to 6 volts and everything shut out.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, obviously you need more than 12 volts. Usually it's about 12.75 volts to be precise, but you definitely need over 12 volts to run it. And there's a lot of ancillary parts in there, so yeah, 6 volts isn't enough.
Gremlins everywhere amongst the field today. Lucky that car's back out nonetheless. Beautiful day here. It was a bit of cloud that came over just before qualifying. It's going to be a great day here at Winton Motor Raceway, the 30th anniversary of the championship coming to the rural country track in Victoria.
They're warming up those Kumho tyres. Apparently they're quite a hard compound, so they last obviously very well. They get 6 tyres for the weekend, and you've got to make them last, but there could be an advantage for saving. I'm not sure what they've done with their tyre strategy. Maybe Jack Smith, maybe Tyler Greenbury could have saved some new rears perhaps for this race.
They were great this morning in race number 1, so they swapped sides for the final race today. Jack Smith of Brad Jones Racing, his first pole position, and the same too for BJ Arm in the V8 Touring Car Series. There's Bradley Nils, number 55, an ex-Perkins car from back in the day. It's part of our Heritage Class car. And Warren Millett to the right-hand side, former V8 Utes racer starting on the back row. So at the moment, Smith and Greenbury are fighting it for the overall round win. There's only 3 points separating the two at the moment, and a good battle for 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's race number 3, 14 laps around Winton Motor Raceway for the V8 touring cars. And we're away. Good start once again from Jack Smith, but Tyler Greenbury's got the better start from the front row. Michael Anderson is going to get ahead here of Jordan Boys, maybe into turn number 1, but the young teenager hangs tough and will hold down the position, but here comes the switchback.
Yes, great start, Tyler Greenbury. Jack Smith had a bit of a slide through there, so he obviously had to stay on the brake a bit longer. He was cautious, he didn't want to run into Tyler and take him out, so yeah, good driving by both of those guys there.
Policina thought about the move on the inside of Smith. He's going to get it done now because Smith got up on those sausage-type curves. He's managed to fight himself back here, but too much dirt on the inside of those tyres. The AHS entry chasing Jim Policina to the top of turn number 7 on lap number 1. Dives down the inside and just backs out. Or did he give him a little bump here? Oh, he scatters him. If there was a touch, it'd be very small.
I thought Policina was going to stop in front of the field there. I held my breath, and I'm glad he got out of the way. It's such a slow spin there. If you get hit, you don't actually see what happens until right around the other side of the corner, because he's obviously turning in and losing the rear.
Josh Smith looking down the inside of Evangelou, gets into the door of car number 6. Now he drops the wheel on the outside of the curb. We jump on board with Michael Caine as he makes up a couple of positions here on the first lap. Tyler Greenbury's a 1.3 second advantage on the first lap alone. 14 laps, an additional couple of laps here, which we do with the V8 Touring Car Series. Replay down here, turn number 4.
You can tell it's the last race of the weekend. These guys are elbows out, they're running each other off the road.
Now, this is what we want to see, the run to turn 7. He pulled out the very last second, which is a common move, and from that angle, you can't tell if there was contact. I think he just went in too hot. This might help us.
Look, I don't think he lost the rear. Yeah.
Oh.
It was more of a kiss, wasn't it?
Wasn't it?
When you're unloaded like that, you're braking heavily, you're turning in, the back of the car's very light. It doesn't take much, as we've seen in previous years in the supercar races. One little touch, and you can have a spin.
You can virtually push it around.
Oh, totally.
This is what was happening down at turn 11. And Josh Smith pushed Evangelou, just kicked his leg out into the rear of the number 6 dial before you dig, Falcon.
I didn't quite see that. I don't know if he did touch him. I think too wide, and Evangelou, I'd probably have to see that replay again.
Down to turn 11, lap 2, first, second, a disappearing. Third and fourth is on now between boys. And Anderson, the man from Bathurst, we go back to McCorkindale, strongest run he's had this weekend.
Yeah, he's doing well, P5, and showing good pace at the moment. We did talk about Dean Canto tuning that car up.
Take a look one more time at the top of turn number 7. And someone needs to trim that tree.
Yeah, you can
small.
see the rear bar flexing as it's been pushed. Geez, it was a light touch.
And he probably wouldn't have even felt that, would he?
Oh, very light. He just would have felt the rear go.
The Smith, I'm saying, not going in.
Yeah,
Barely would have
absolutely.
felt it. Here he is, second of the Image Racing Falcons. Josh Smith heading down into turn number 1 with Chris Smurden and Michael Caine.
He may get done for that. I don't want to sit on the fence. That's my opinion. He may get done.
You really are becoming a commentator. This is good to see. Comedian yesterday, a couple of one-liners, and today making the judgment calls. We like it.
I won't tell anyone where the commentary box is, because if I upset someone, they'll probably be waiting outside.
We've locked the door, you're right.
I heard I upset Mason Barbera. He's a big fella.
Yeah, wrong guy probably to mess with.
Yeah, I'll take a wide berth if I see him.
Down to turn 7. Watching Josh Smith. It's the battle for 6th, 7th and 8th, and now Michael Caine, Tony Evangelou and David Wright, saloon car racer. He's cut a few laps around here in the Geelong Tyre Centre, Holden.
You see how they come out of that last turn and get up onto the curb. It's very easy to slip on the other side of it. Of course, it's dirt, but you use that curb as a bit of a cush, and that gives you a better drive out of the turn.
Such a narrow curb too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's quite steep, so you hit it. It's like a motorbike, like a
berm.
motocross berm. You sort of berm up on it, and you can get good drive off that turn.
Smurden down the inside of Caine into the second last turn. He settles into this race, lap 4 of 14. They head down to turn number 1. It's still 1.3 seconds first to second. Jack Smith responded on that last lap to go 1 minute 24.308. It was 2/10 quicker than Tyler Greenbury. And the way it's looking, Tyler Greenbury will secure the round as down the inside once again goes Caine. This is a great little scrap.
Yeah, it's a good move, and Caine, he has some nice decisive moves. He puts on some good passes, so he seems like a good racer. Obviously unlucky with, we were talking about that alternator issue that he had in the previous race, so good to see him back out there, and he's got himself back up to a respectable 7th spot.
So now it's time for Evangelou to try the move down the inside. And Smurden, he's done this all before, gave him enough room, but it's cost him a position. It might cost him a second one if he doesn't protect it on David Wright.
Now, Evangelou's got dialed before you dig on his car. Remember his teammate, John McCorkindale, he unloaded him in the previous race, so it would have been a bit of a chat between those guys. Sorry, mate.
Would have liked to be between those two. He might have dig himself out of that one, perhaps. That was just awful. Horrible.
Where's the drum roll on that?
Exactly. Down the inside now goes David Wright. Into turn number 11. He's going to pull this car up, or is Smurden going to get the switch back here? Yes, he will. They'll go side by side into the final turn.
Good racing there. The guys giving each other plenty of racing room, which is good to see.
See, David Wright car, a former Paul Morris Motorsport, cars owned by Paul Panisi. We've seen him in national level categories for a long, long time.
The dude's known for naming his cars a whole heap of different colourful names, so yeah, only the guys that have built the cars and worked on them would know some of those.
This one was Bam Bam.
Bam Bam.
Yep.
Famous Bam Bam.
There's some great cars over the years, and they found a good home here, the V8 touring cars. So scar marks down the inside of the Australian Hydrographic Services Falcon there of Josh Smith. So 10 laps to go. It's a smallest gap still at the front. In fact, if anything, Smith has pulled him in by a couple of tenths. We're watching Josh Smith and John McCorkindale, 5th and 6th position, but some 14 seconds away from the guys at the front.
McCorkindale's doing good. obviously you've got a fair spread of different cars, different technology in this field. So McCorkindale's in an older car and he's matching it with the FG in front. So he's doing a great job there.
As time goes on, we'll start to see all the cars drift into this championship. It's been going for 10 years now, and it's really starting to make a name for itself on the Australian circuits. It's a good pass here from Wright. Now this time he'll try and block the line. But you come in there with a whole lot of heat, though. It's hard to bring the switch back.
Well, it's quite bumpy there too, so it's very, very easy to lock it generally in the front. Depending on your brake bias, you can come in there, lock the rears, and sort of skitter off the track. So he's done well to pull it up.
This time he made it stick. Smurd, and there's those liquor flames. We haven't seen them for a long, long time. Greenbury up to turn 7. It's 1 second between these two. Looks a bit closer than that now. Lap 6 of 14, so plenty of time for Jack Smith and the SCT Logistics Holden to make amends and take back the round win. There's only 4 points between the two. If we swap first and second, this guy will look good for the round win. Yeah,
they're very close on points, and it was actually a good shot of Greenbury coming through there. You can tell the car's set up nicely because his hands, he's got nice white gloves there, and it's very easy to see what's happening on the wheel. So he was coming through just nice and smooth, minimal inputs to the wheel, which shows me that the car's working well, it's riding the curbs well, and he's not battling in there.
Down to turn 11, Greenbury ran a Falcon last year, picked up his first race win of his career at Phillip Island, backed it up in race number 2. The race 2 winner here earlier today. Some good backing from Edge Designer Homes and a car out of the Eggleston Motorsport stable as well. It's won championships in the Dunlop Super 2 Series. A Bathurst 1000 win as well a few years ago. And doing good here in race number 3. Halfway home, let's go down the pit lane.
Yeah, I've got Dean Canto, guys. You talked about John McCorkindale before with the incident with Evangelou. Was there any chats amongst the two after that last race?
Look, they had a little bit of a chat, but look, I think Tony was probably a bit hard done by with the penalty that dished out to him with the drive-through. But there was no bad blood between the two of them. Unfortunately, we're working back from a bad qualifying. John fired off 3 times through the sweeper in quali, and a red flag came out, so didn't put his best foot forward. But he's fighting with Josh Smith out there. He's in a much newer car, and look, John's learning a lot this weekend. He's struggling with his braking. He's just not confident, and all sort of problems stem from that. He's got a lot of understeer, but it's more just because he's braking early. So he's learning more about himself this weekend than the car. I can always make the car do what he wants it to do, but we really need to work on his driving a little bit, and he's getting there this weekend.
So what are some of the challenges he faces in the older spec car versus these newer spec?
Look, the car's are more refined, so it's just that, those 2 and 3 kilometres an hour, just in the middle of the corner, if you approach there a little bit faster, you can get out there a bit faster with the newer cars. So you're talking 2 or 3 tenths every corner, you add that up over a lap, and that's where our deficit is. But he comes back with a smile on his face every time. He's always eager to learn, and he doesn't blame the car like most drivers do.
Thanks, Dino.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Dean Canto doing all the engineering on this car. It's a 10-year-old car now that James Courtney debuted in back in 2007. Scott McLaughlin's first ever race winner in the development series back in 2011. And a wheel off a car. This is off Greenbury, we believe.
Oh, no.
What is it with race number 3? And what has happened here? And there's the car skating off. Just when he's in the prime position once again, a wheel has come off on the right-hand front side for Tyler Greenbury. And his weekend is now done, and that's the game changer.
Oh, that's devastating for him. You can see it's so muddy out there, and he's beached. If he was able to get back to the pits, which of course he's stuck now, the team would have been able, and he's stuck in the middle off the sweeper. If he was able to get back, he could jack it up, get another wheel on, get some points. But yeah, Jack Smith is obviously, all he has to do is finish this one in a reasonable position. He's won the weekend.
How on earth has that tyre come off, though, this late into a race?
Yeah, plenty of mechanical components there.
Here it is, coming up to the top. The old start-finish line here, and it's parted ways before we even got to the top of the hill. Because these wheel nuts on there, they're a locking mechanism inside them, which will stop them from coming away like that.
Yeah, you'd have to, I can't see in that rim, obviously the nut stays encapsulated there, so what we were looking for is the nut to depart. Oh, that wheel's come off exit of turn 2, and
not a good spot for it to have. There's no good spot for it to tie
exactly,
anywhere, but
you know.
There with a on your left-hand side, and what a shame for the man who's looking to wrap up the weekend, and now gives Jack Smith pretty much a lonely race now. Nearly 6 seconds back to Jordan Boys. And the way you see right now, first, second and third is how they'll finish for the weekend, unless something else happens in race number 3.
Well, you did say at Phillip Island in the last race, no one wanted to win it through tyre failures and different things. So, yeah, very unfortunate. Obviously, a well-turned-out car. The Eggleston Motorsport crew would be just as devastated as Tyler Greenbury at the moment.
Jack Smith, there's always a winner out of these situations. He now has the lead, and does Jordan Boys have enough time to capture and pass Jack Smith? Let's go for a ride on board for a full lap. Maybe you could talk us what it's like to drive around here.
Yeah, watch for the top. You got the shift lights. You have different colours for those. You see it goes green to blue. That's the shift point. He's hitting his marks at that stage. Down under brakes. Gearing down, just controlling that brake pressure. Over the curbs. It's best to stay off that second apex curb at 2. Into turn 3. Gearing down, modulating your brake. You can tell how the car's handling by how much wheel work you've got, especially on the entry under brakes. Here's the sweeper. It's really difficult because you come in your brake and you modulate that off. You're easing off the brake. It is so easy to spear off. Over the curb. Down to second gear. Oh, he's run a little wide there. The important thing in this 7, 8, 9 complex is patience in the middle of the corner. If you get on the throttle too early, you're going to get oversteer. You're going to lose that run off the corner. Unwind that lock, get a nice, good run. Nice and straight under brakes. He's gone down 2 gears there. A little early, you really heard the engine revs go up. And he's coming down. This is a bit of a bumpy braking area. As you come down into turn 11, second last corner. You'd see, you just heard he's had a little bit of rear locking there. Just got to gear down that little bit later for that last gear back to second.
That's one full lap of Winton Motor Raceway on board with Jordan Boys. He's 6 seconds behind Jack Smith. Let's go to pit lane with Cam.
I thought I'd grab Ben Eggleston. Ben, what is with these final races at the moment in V8 touring cars with Tyler Greenbury? Can you tell us what's happened?
Mate, don't really know. He just radioed in and said, you know, the car had a problem on the exit of turn 2, and it looks like it's had a suspension failure or something in the front, and unfortunately it's lost a wheel, so not ideal.
I was going to say, this does hurt for championship, though, doesn't it? Because he's a genuine contender and has been, well, did a great job last year and was looking for the championship this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, still got 3 rounds to go. We just need to win every race from here on in to try and clinch the title.
So I guess from here on out, it's just get points, wins, wins, wins.
Oh, yeah, have to win every race now, pretty much. So, yeah, we'll get it back. We'll see what's the problem and press on to Queensland.
Thanks, Ben.
No dramas. Cheers.
Former racer himself, Ben Eggleston, heading up the Eggleston Motorsport team, which is a very busy outfit when you think of the Super 2 Series, V8 Touring Car Series and the Australian GT Championship. And Tyler just sitting there now. Best he can do is just chill out and watch the race. It'll be a lonely old world out there, though.
Ah, it is, and you know we've all been there when something hasn't gone your way, and it's a terrible feeling because not only yourself, the preparation for the team, the sponsors, obviously, everyone that's supporting the team is in on it as well, and you know, feeling the pain. They'll bounce back. He had great pace. He's obviously leading the race, so you know, let's see. The challenge now, as Ben said, is to win every race for the season to try and clinch the title. So, and that's a big challenge.
Bit of time now before the next round at Queensland Raceway as part of the Ipswich Super Sprint in July. So closing stages, and Jack Smith is shutting this race down. And what's going on here with McCorkindale's car?
He's got a bit of smoke coming out. I don't think it's a tyre rubbing. I think it's on the exhaust side. So we'll monitor that. Doesn't look like it's leaking oil. It's just got a bit of smoke.
Just on an exit point, wasn't it? We saw it was like down here into turn number 3. Is the tyre just rubbing up there, maybe?
Yeah, it might be from an earlier touch. Yeah, you can see there. Well, it's hard for me to see. Sometimes on these cars, obviously, you've got your diff housing there. In the back diff housing, you've got your bearings and your seal. Sometimes you see when he goes around the corner, especially on the right hand where the oil can surge across. Yeah, so I'm going with diff seal.
He's not rubbing against anything, so yeah, tends to lean that direction. Not hindering him too much at the moment.
Yeah, that's, I'll back that one up definitely now. You can see when it gets that oil surge to that direction, it goes across. That's not going to help his braking. Oil on the brake rotor gives you smoke, but it also is obviously not going to help him pull up.
So down towards the final turn. He runs back in 5th position right now. Wealth of experience in Porsche GT3 racing. Had to step up late last year into the V8 Touring Car Series. Now Michael Anderson, 3rd position. He's going to finish on the podium here today. The Kenwood Holmes Falcon, that's some 10 seconds away from the guys ahead. You'll think it's a race over. Am I running this race on my own out here?
Well, the field's spread out a lot. Obviously, the pace has changed throughout. We've had the race and it's run the distance. So in that case, obviously, we've had a bit of action, but Tyler Greenbury's obviously parked out of the way, so you know there's no hassle to pull out a safety car. Anderson, I won't say he's had a trouble-free weekend, but he's definitely driven himself back up into the points contention.
Pole position at Phillip Island, front row start yesterday from qualifying, and now Jack Smith. Brad Jones Racing will be loving this, and so will he. Pole position and a race win. He's likely to capture his 2nd one and the round win. There's still 1 lap to go. Margin is well out to 8 seconds.
Yeah, he hasn't got to push too hard this lap. Bring it home, Jack. That's all you got to do.
So he starts the final lap and will potentially move up into the top 3 championship-wise. We'll take all the round points at the end. Remember those days? We used to do all that.
Yeah, absolutely. You see the young guys there. Bit of team rivalry. We've got the Red Bull, we've got the Ford and the Holden.
It's a cool atmosphere here. It's a really old school event to come to. If you haven't been here before, come and check it out next year. The campgrounds were buzzing last night. There was a huge concert. Although it was very, very cold, they kept themselves warm and they partied late into the night.
What was the entertainment?
I heard the band's going out here while I was trying to finish my work off last night. They were loud, whatever they were. Smith, though, final couple of turns. Raced last year in the CAMS Australian Formula 4 Championship. Comes from the Smith family that created the company SCT Logistics, a nationwide line haul business. And looking good here now with just a couple of turns to go. Out to 10 seconds. The checkered flag being prepared. He's earned this one. Pole position yesterday, did it well in qualifying. And now has 2 turns. Right in front of him is Stapleton rejoining to the circuit. What a great weekend for the Albury-based team. And this man, Jack Smith, race winner, round winner in the V8 Touring Cars at Winton Motor Raceway.
Great for Jack's confidence. Obviously, he's Super 2 as well. For him, getting this race win, he goes to the next round full of confidence, saying, hey, I can win races here.
Absolutely.
And I can do it in the next series as well.
Can't beat racing laps, that's for sure. Michael Anderson celebrating 3rd position and 3rd overall for the weekend. Jordan Boyce got home for 2nd. While that was happening too, Smith, McCorkindale and Michael Caine crossing the line, 4th, 5th and 6th. This guy, fantastic effort. And they just are younger and younger getting into this category, aren't they?
Absolutely. You see the young guys, see them opting out of Formula Ford. Now V8 Touring Cars just starting so young.
11 seconds was the win in the end. Smith back to Jordan Boyce, another big bag of points for the teenage star. Michael Anderson was 3rd, Smith, McCorkindale, Caine, Tony Evangelou in 7th, Wright, Policina and Smurden picking up the top 10 results here. Here is your round points, and that's what it looks like. Big bag of points for Jack Smith, the winner ahead of Jordan Boyce. Michael Anderson, Josh Smith, Tyler Greenbury dropped himself from 1st down to 5th in the end. Lost a better part of 40 points. McCorkindale down to David Wright.